You ever notice how sometimes we pray for answers, but we don't actually stop to listen for them? We ask God to show us the way, but we're too busy talking, venting, or trying to figure it out ourselves that we never quiet down long enough to hear His guidance. And that's where so many of us get stuck, not because God isn't speaking, but because we're too distracted to listen. Learn that listening, really listening, is one of the hardest yet most powerful things you can do for your own growth. It's not just about hearing words, it's about being open to direction. Sometimes that guidance comes through a friend, a message, a quiet moment, or even a situation that humbles you. The problem is we often tune out when the message doesn't sound the way we expect it to. We want God to speak in clarity, but He often speaks in conviction, correction, and patience, and we don't always want to hear that part. I used to think listening was passive, like it meant doing nothing, but the truth is, listening takes discipline. It means putting your pride to the side and admitting you don't have all the answers. I remember times I was so sure I knew what was best for me. Career moves, relationships, decisions I made out of emotion, and every time I ignored wise counsel, every time I brushed off that quiet inner voice telling me slow down, it ended up costing me, not just in opportunities, but in peace, because peace isn't found in doing what you want, it's found in following what's right. And to follow what's right, you've got to listen. And here's the thing, sometimes God's guidance doesn't come directly from Him speaking into your spirit. It comes from people He places in your path. Maybe someone older, wiser, or even someone who's been through what you're going through. But pride makes us deaf. We think they don't understand me, or I already know what I'm doing. And that mindset keeps us stuck in the same cycles. Listening doesn't make you weak, it makes you teachable, and teachable people grow. When you humble yourself enough to listen, you open yourself to direction that can save you from years of frustration and pain. The biggest growth I've ever experienced didn't come from speaking, it came from listening. Listening to people who've walked through storms I've never faced. Listening to correction even when it stung. Listening to God when He said, be still. Because growth doesn't always come from movement. Sometimes it comes from stillness, from sitting with the lesson long enough to understand what He's trying to show you. And when you start practicing that, when you make space to listen, you start recognizing that God's guidance isn't random, it's intentional. Every moment, every voice, every delay, it's all part of His way of guiding you where you're meant to be. So maybe the next time you're praying for direction, don't just talk. Pause, listen, ask God to open your ears more than your mouth. Because when you truly listen with humility and intention, you'll realize He's been guiding you the whole time. You just had to quiet the noise to hear Him clearly. If this message spoke to you, take a second to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss more encouragement like this. And if you know someone who could use this reminder, share it with them today. You never know how much one message could impact someone's life. Thanks for spending this time with me here. Your growth matters. I'll see you in the next video.